Hello, nerds! Thank you for joining me here on Nerd News Clips. This is the second channel. This is the place for all of the short form content as well as the individual sections and just generally speaking smaller things. If you are into the longer form content, youtube.com/generallynerdy is the place to go see that. With that out of the way, let's get into this. Comic books and books. We actually have a book follow-up for this episode. I'm super stoked. All right, follow-ups. Winds of Winter. We've been keeping tabs on this as often as possible because George R.R. Martin is apparently taking forever to write this book. And then, you know, there's still another book in the series, right? There's still one last book, The Dawn of Summer or something like that. I'm totally, that's not right at all. But, I mean, we're probably never going to see it, so whatever. But George R.R. Martin has come out and revealed that he is approximately 3/4 of the way through writing this book, which means since it's been, 12 years since he announced that he was writing this book, if it's 3/4 of the way through, we still got another 5 years before this happens. What the hell? Yeah, more like 4 years probably. But either way, not cool, George, not cool. Finish the damn book. But yeah, that's all we really have. Next, we're talking about Batman, The Adventure Continues. That's right, the comic book series that continues the animated series. Season 3 of The Adventure Continues is launching January 10th of 2023. This is just good stuff, man. If you liked the original animated series, then you're going to like this comic book series, and you've got 2 volumes to catch up on before January 10th. That being said, that's all I've got for follow-ups and corrections. Let's move into regular-ass news. We have DCeased, War of the Undead Gods. We have a very interesting turn of events in DCeased, War of the Undead Gods, issue number 3. And that is that Lobo, everyone's favorite anti-hero in the DC side of things, Lobo is immune to the anti-life virus, which is kind of to be expected because Lobo, but also implies that maybe they have some big plans in this alternate universe in DC. The DCeased stuff is some of the better stuff from the last decade or so. The last 5 to 8 years. I'm not going to go full on decade, but last 5 or 8 years for sure. So if you're not reading it, it's worth a read. Go catch up and then you'll see what I mean. But yeah, very interesting. I don't know if we're going to get anything else beyond that, but let's have the conversation down in the description why this works and why Lobo is going to save the universe. And then we actually got a trailer in this episode for Comic Books and Books, and it is a comic book trailer. It is the Riddler Year 1 trailer. We talked about this book when it was announced. This is going to be Paul Dano's debut comic book writing excursion. And yeah, the trailer looks pretty dang interesting, not gonna lie. Also, I didn't realize when I watched the movie, I guess, but they changed Edward Nygma's name to Edward Nashton. What happened to Nygma? I don't know. Either way, I'm very intrigued by this trailer for this comic book. I might be picking it up, but it's not out yet. So let's move into comic book suggestions. Staying with DCeased, we're going to say DCeased Volume 1. Go get the trade book, the paperback, hardcover, whichever one tickles your fancy. I generally pick up the paperbacks because they're cheaper and I'm broke. But DCeased Volume 1 is one that I have picked up and it is worth a read. I really dig it. I'm not the biggest Tom Taylor fan, honestly, at all. But DCeased is worth a read for sure. Once again, this has been just a brief segment from the larger episode that has been posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go over there for the long form content or just subscribe here if you want it in bite-sized chunks. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.